Love hurts. On one hand, there was RT, who was 5 years old when the person who loved him put out a cigarette in the tender palm of his hand. On the other hand, there's the tender acts of love, kindness that we all do that we hope carry on through the years. It was the early 1980s. I was a young man running the youth programs at our neighborhood center, and it was in a neighborhood in Detroit that at the time had no name since the freeway had cut it off about 12 years before, but some firefighters I knew called it the Forest because of all the fires and streets named Ash and Elm. And I'd walk home after work. When I'd get near my block on the corner, there'd be a group of kids, usually around 5 to 8 kids, and they'd always be waiting for me, and they'd be yelling, "Eddie, Eddie!" You know, because they weren't allowed off the block, so they couldn't come to the center, but they often weren't allowed in their house either. And there was a group of families that lived within this duplex and a bunch of kids, and they'd follow me down to our house, and we'd sit on the steps, and we'd eat and play games and read books. But sometimes I'd be tired. You know, it's the end of the day. I don't want to, I just finished my whole day with kids, and now I got hours more with kids. So I'd try to sneak around, and I'd go down the next block, and I'd be looking around the corner and seeing if they're on the corner looking for me so I could cut across real quick to my house. And I'm peeking out, and one of the kids turns around, and he sees me, and he yells, "Eddie!" And I knew something was wrong, just the way he said it. And they all come down, this huddle of girls comes down, and in the middle is RT. And they showed me what's been done to him, and and he's filthy, and his pants are wet, and the wound's not been cleaned. It happened the night before, and we clean it up and bandage it and put medicine on it. And I tried to speak to the adults in the house to no avail, and all that evening I'm picking up the phone and putting it back down and debating whether to call protective services. Now, it seems like a pretty clear call. Someone put a cigarette out in this boy's hand to call, but I'm thinking if I call, I won't see him again. And I'm the one who knocked on the door day after day to get Mom to get up, get him to school, sign him up for kindergarten, even though he hardly ever went. And I was the one who was teaching him how to read, and I felt like I wouldn't be able to do that anymore. But eventually I knew I had to call, and I did. By the weekend after next, the duplex was empty. I never saw him again. And except once in a dream. And in my dream, he was a grown man, and that bright light in his eyes of curiosity and compassion and sweetness was gone. I mean, RT was just the sweetest little kid. I remember him sitting on the steps with me, and he said, "Eddie, I saw a poor man." And I said, "Really, RT, you saw a poor man?" He said, "Yeah, he was in the dumpster. He was looking for food. Can we give him food?" I said, "Sure, RT. Next time you see him, just invite him over. We'll give him, if he wants food, we'll give him some food." But that light was gone, and in my dream, and I never knew what happened to him. So my wife and I have spent the next 30 years of our life, the last 3 decades, taking in kids, and fostering and adopting, and just taking in kids and trying to do for them what I couldn't do for RT. But about 10 years after the last time I ever saw him, I was in the parking lot eating ice cream with one of our little ones in a different neighborhood where we now live, and there's these 3 older teenage girls, and 2 of them are pointing at me, and they got big smiles on their face and pointing, and I'm like, and they finally walk across the parking lot towards me, and the 2 got big smiles on their face, and they say, "Did you used to live over on Rosa Parks?" And I said, "Yeah." They said, "Is your name Eddie?" I said, "Yeah." They both look at their friend, and they said, "That's him. That's the guy we've been telling you about. That's him." And they sing us that song. Sing us that song. Like, what song? I have no idea who these girls are, what they're talking about. And then it starts slowly to come back to me, and they go, I said, "Oh, the Name Gang." She said, just sing it with my name. I said, all right. She said, it's Kathy, it's Kathy. I said, Kathy, Kathy, Bobathy, Banana, Nana, Bofathy, Fee-Fi, Bofathy, Kathy. Then the other one says, my name. So I have to sing with her name. Then they tell her friend, sing it with her name, sing it with her name. And we spent the next half hour of them going on and on, singing songs we sang and stories, things that used to happen. And I never realized. I couldn't remember the names. I don't know who they were, what an impact it had. And it gave me hope. And they'd lost track of RT too. They had no idea what had happened to him. But it gave me hope that maybe he has some of these good memories from these little tiny things we did that help sustain him.
Big round of applause for Eddie, everybody. Come on. Yeah.